Okay, about that whole grommet in the firewall. Found that one. It's my trusty coat hanger. You see it's actually, I don't know if you can see it, but it's, sorry. It is sticking through there. I took a little short one of those little mini screwdrivers and poked a hole, and then it came to the next rubber piece. Apparently there's an inner grommet, so I poked a hole through that and then stuck the coat hanger through. So that was the first thing. And to begin with, I found this one from the inside. I didn't come at it from here. I mean, I knew where it was. I took a look at it, but from inside, that grommet is. I was just trying to find one. I was reaching around in here, so of course I left the flashlight up there, but up through the glove box, not up through the bottom, but up through the glove box here, you want to go upward and feel for a bundle of cables towards the back. Let's see, there it is. I think it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, you'll feel it. It's a big old wad of cables, and just follow it to the left. It kind of heads over here, and you'll run right into the grommet, and there, right in the grommet, I feel the coat hanger, and I'm wiggling it right now. So I've already got a hole through there, and it's pretty close to the head unit, which is where this RCA cable is going to end up going. So I'm very pleased that I have this. The only thing I have to do now is figure out what kind of tube to go through there. I know somebody used a pen, but and I haven't even looked at the backup unit yet, but it's got to be an RCA cable, I would think. But I'll go look at that now before I enlarge the hole or anything, and we'll see if we can get that through. So I'm going to run this guy through that grommet down there. I've already put a coat hanger through there, kind of poked it through 2 layers of rubber to get into the inside of the dashboard there. This has just been a long story about trying to figure out how all this works, front camera versus rear and all that stuff, but what I'm going to do is you know, the yellows for the video. So that's the plan, and I'm going to kind of tape this onto a push rod and see if I can just get it to go through that hole without enlarging it too much. So this is the plan, kind of taped on that Phillips bit on there, and I was going to run this RCA connector alongside this right up under here, but it was this thick, so I decided to follow it on the bottom, just tape it together. So hopefully if this is going through, it'll suck this along with it. It's quite thick considering I just have a coat hanger size hole there, but I'm hoping it'll open up, and I'm hoping it'll close back up real well on around it too, so we'll see. Okay, so get this business through the first layer of rubber, and I was pushing it into the second. I wasn't sure whether it found that hanger hole or not. Probably would have been better had I removed this. I would have had a little more room. But anyway, I went inside the car and followed that wad of wires right up under here to where I found the grommet, and I could feel the tip of the Phillips head screw pushing against the rubber. It may have even popped out a little bit. It's right beside the wad of wires, so it's okay at the moment. What I'm thinking of doing is just keep forcing it through, and it should just go right alongside the wad of wires, but I'm going to be gentle and make sure I don't scrape anything. So continuing on from here. So here we are. So this length of solid whatever was okay. I was afraid it was going to be so long it would get jammed in there and not be able to make a corner or something like that, but obviously it did make it through, so I'm going to untape this and tape this down along there somewhere or something. Get enough pulled in to where I'm in good shape there, so that's a good thing. So I kind of ran this up through here to get over to the back of the head unit once I get it in there. Probably took me longer to get the duct tape off of here than it did to run it, which is kind of scary, but anyway. So my wife's car died this morning. I really needed to get out and pick up some electrical pieces to help with some of all this whole camera arrangement. I was actually thinking of putting a lawn chair over there and connecting the battery back up, but it's a little too weird. All right, so this is good. This was one of the harder things I had going, and so I'm glad that's there. And at some point, I'll mention the whole backup camera thing. I'm still learning, but anyway, that whole thing's weird. I figured I might as well show you what camera I've got here. This is a Boyo VTL 17LTJ license plate camera, and I've got the same brand, slightly different model license plate camera for the back. And this has been a really strange experience trying to figure out the difference because the wiring's completely different. This one has the infrared lights, which I wanted. So I wanted, in case it were at night, I could have it illuminated. And it may not be needed. I mean, the headlights should do it, but at least if it were down below, you know, it would show the cement block that I'm going to run into. So I've just about got the front camera wires ran. Nothing fancy on this camera. I just installed it right there. It's not beautiful, but should do the job. There's not a lot of space to screw this thing on. It's tiny little screws, hard to drill in up there, but I took a Dremel and just kind of scored the plastic a little to give it a little starting point, and then just use this guy to sort of drive it in there. So you got the wire here. I ran up through a little cubby hole in there. I just ran it up through there, and I had to take off this piece of the under cowl. Only takes a couple minutes to do that. Got a two of these screws and two of these little pop out guys that you pop out with this kind of thing. So it gave me some more room to see what was going on in there. So I got to get this back on. But as far as the wiring goes, you remember that grommet there, and I probably should put some silicone or something on there, but I don't know, probably wouldn't matter. Anyway, but that's where that went, and I just had the wire kind of wadded up over here. I took the opposite end of this red wire, goes all the way over with the yellow that's going to hook up at the head unit. I'm going to use the head unit power, and then coming back here, I've connected that red wire with the green, which is for the LED lights. So I used one of these little connecty dealies crimped onto both ends to bring these two wires together, and then one of these little sealing things. So you put the light or two and it seals it up, you know, in case it's around water or whatever. So hopefully that works. I have no idea if this is a good place to ground, but that's where it is. I have read that when you're doing a connection like this and you have that RCA connection, that it's grounded anyway. But since all this junk was here and that bolt was there, I grounded it there. And I'm going to clean this up a bit as well. So the only thing I'll really need to do is adjust the camera angle. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'd have to flip the image or what have you, but that seems to be in place. And then I'll have to connect the hot and the RCA to the head unit. So most of the front camera should be done here. And once again, I'm going to tie this up real good, make sure it didn't come undone. So then I'll get off to the back camera.